everyone. This is our last workshop of DAOHacks, our last sponsor workshop of DAOHacks. And we're excited to have Leibing here from Covalent, who's going to be doing workshop on building DAO transparency dashboards with one unified API. So questions, if you have any, go in the Zoom chat. And Leibing will be more than happy to answer them. And with that being said, I will pass the mic over to Leibing.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us at this final sponsor workshop of the day. I hope you guys are having fun hacking away. I'm Leibing from Covalent. I'm from the developer relations team here at Covalent. And unfortunately, Leilani wouldn't be joining us today because she's on a holiday. So I'm very envious of her, but it'll be just me today. And we'll have fun here while she has fun somewhere else. Okay, guys, let me go ahead with the presentation. We're going to cover 4 things today. Some of the data trends in Web3, what is Covalent API, and how you can use our API to access DAO on-chain data, right? Or any other kinds of on-chain data that you want to build. So the bounty that we have for this hackathon for y'all would not just be limited to DAOs. It is a very open bounty. You can work on DeFi, you can work on NFTs, you can work on other kinds of dashboards. Hold on, my alarm is off suddenly. Just give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys, I am back. So yeah, you can use us for all kinds of on-chain data. And then I'll just give you a quick run through of the resources as well as demos that you can use for the hackathon. So as you know, within the last 2 years, crypto adoption is on the upswing, right? We saw fintech and crypto merging, right? A lot of big players suddenly entering into the game. We saw brands like crypto.com blowing up and booking stadiums and changing the name of stadiums to their, brand. And we saw government initiatives all over the world, right? And in terms of kind of the history of adoption of this technology, we're still pretty much at its infancy. We at Covalent believe that by 2025, there will be millions of critical information on public blockchains. There will be dozens of, single or multi-use blockchains that will power thousands of DApps, just like how we are using, thousands of Web2 applications in our lives right now. And more than 1 billion users will be on-chain, and we're very close to this kind of vision already. Now, there's a problem with that vision because each blockchain is its contained ecosystem, which does not necessarily talk to each other, right? And as we have seen in the last few months, bridge technology can inherently be rather insecure. It is still pretty much in its infancy as well. Blockchains produce lots of data, but these data is not as neat as our traditional relational databases like in SQL, right? They are often very disorganized because of the decentralized nature. There's no standard data structure. It is pretty complex to understand and also very difficult to store. So there's a huge data problem in terms of accessibility within blockchains as well. So what is the Covalent API, right? We are a data API service where we expose neatly packaged blockchain data from all 26, 27 chains that we index into a standardized query format, right? So for instance, if you want to get the token balances of someone in the Ethereum chain, it will be the same query that you use as the query that you use to get token balances from Avalanche chain, for instance. You just need to change one chain ID, and I'll show you that later. You can query it from all kinds of environments. You can query it from your terminal using curl. You can query it from the browser. You can query it from your code, right? Front-end code or back-end code. Because that's what APIs are. We make the data public for you. So you don't necessarily need to code to be able to access the data. We have the ability to export the data in CSV or Google Sheets format as well for you. And all this allow you to get multi-chain data across lots of the major chains, right? Within a couple of minutes, even seconds, if you know how to set it up. It's really simple. Okay, so we make the data of blockchains easily accessible and transparent. Where do we fit into your crypto stack, you may ask, right? Because blockchains themselves produce the data, and the data is hosted in nodes, which are typically exposed as JSON RPC endpoints, right? We're not the proprietor of this data by no means, right? What we do is that we aggregate the data from all the different nodes so that you don't have to make individual queries to each of the nodes to get the data that you want. And that's typically very useful if you want to build multi-chain applications. We see ourselves as the data layer, where we, like I said, aggregate the data, package it into formats that fit easily into different kinds of use cases. For instance, if you want to build a wallet, if you want to build an NFT gallery, if you want to build any kind of analytics and charts or any sheets, all you need is just a couple of endpoints to power your applications. So some of the users include analysts, data analysts, research analysts, and also crypto developers. And our projects our API service is being used by a lot of developers and projects in the ecosystem today. So, and here is the exciting part. What bounties do we have for you guys for this hackathon, for DAOHacks? We are offering a 4,000 USDT prize pool for projects that makes meaningful use of the Covalent API to build any Web3 project, including DAO dashboards, including if you even want to build a DAO tool, right? Or any form of community tool for DAOs, that's possible. If you want to build an NFT tool or an NFT idea, that's possible as well, a DeFi idea. We kept this bounty open, up to you guys to build any kind of Web3 startup idea that you want. If you need on-chain data to get it done, Covalent fits into the backend. I didn't change the amount here. Let me just quickly change the amount so that it wouldn't be misleading. 4,000, there we go. Yes, so what does prize pool mean? Prize pool means that, let's say we have 20 projects submitting to the prize pool, right? We will be splitting the prize pool up evenly across 20 projects after taking into consideration the different tiers of merit. So that's the other thing. Because often we receive projects that some projects put in a lot of work, some projects maybe put in less work, and some projects are really, really solid ideas, and some projects we can't really understand the use case, etc. Right? You can find more bounty right up in the price page that ETH Global has for you. So, and because of that, we often give different tiers of merit. So for instance, some projects will receive $300, some will receive $400. It wouldn't be too drastic, but there will be a differentiation because we feel it is only fair if the projects that are more deserving gets awarded a little bit more, right? So there's a prize pool that we have. All right, let me just go through the hackathon resources that you guys can use. The first one, obviously, would be our API reference. And this is the most important one here on number 2 here. In other places, it's called documentation, but here it's called API reference. So let me just click through and share with you what this looks like. There you go, classic documentation on the product that we offer. We have 2 kinds of endpoints that exposes different kinds of data for you. The first one is class A endpoints. The second one is class B endpoints, right? Class A endpoints are on-chain data that you can find across all chains. For instance, this is a list of chains that we support, right? Ethereum, Polygon Avalanche, BSC, Moonbeam, Phantom, and you can find this kinds of data across all of these chains. For instance, there are data specific to balances. You want to get the balances of my address on RSK, you can use this. If you want to get my balances on Ethereum or Polygon, you can use this as well. What does this look like? Get token balances for address. This is the query string, right? And you can often run it to take a look what the sample response will look like. And when you run it, we give a sample demo address for you to run and see what it looks like. So this is your response. This is the product. This is the data response that you get that will be integrated into your code, right? And let's take a look at what the response looks like for the balances. We queried this sample address that was provided in this example. And this person has lots of tokens. Actually, he has 125 tokens, different tokens, and we are querying the Ethereum mainnet. So what kind of tokens does he hold? He has a KYGY.org token, which is the ERC20 token, and this is the balances that he currently holds for that token. Why is this number so big? Because it is denominated in Wei, as these data go in blockchain. Even if you use a web3.py, right? The other service that allows you to access on-chain data through nodes, it will also be denominated in Wei. So what you need to do, often if you want to get it in SI unit, you take this number, divide it by 10 to the power of the contract decimal. All right, let me repeat that again. If you want to get it in SI unit, for instance, in ETH or any other, in this one in KYDY, right, token in its original unit, you get it, you take the balances divided by 10 to the power of contract decimal. You can find that information, more of those information in, I believe, this part when you view responses here. Balance, the asset balance. Use contract decimal to scale this balance for display purposes. All right. Okay, so that is this endpoint, and you can also get the historical value over time. So why is this very helpful? If you want to chart what are my trading patterns for anybody, what are my trading patterns? What is the trading pattern of this trader, right? You can use this one to get what are his historical holdings over a period of time of 30 days. You can get all the token transfers for a particular address, right? And you can see the list of balances endpoints here. It's very helpful for building any kind of the app. And I'll show you some examples later. You can get NFT data, right? You can get the NFT tokens, IDs for one particular NFT collection. You can get a global market view. And this is a new endpoint that's really powerful. It allows you to, at one glance, get the market cap of every single NFT collection within an ecosystem. Let me let you have a look. Now, if you click run here, right, it will return you the market cap of every single collection within these NFT marketplaces on Ethereum mainnet. Bam, there we go. The top NFT market cap, and it is sorted according to market cap, is Rarible, and this is its market cap in Way. Then we have a very popular collection called Townstar apparently nowadays, and Fantasy Island Sandbox. And I'll show you what it looks like on the front end when it is all displayed, right? So we've got NFT data, we've got transaction data, and this category we've got base. So what base refers to is a couple of foundational data that you can get. For instance, get block heights within a certain date range. You provide the start date and end date. For instance, I want to find how many blocks are being produced on the Ethereum chain today. Maybe there's no easy way for you to find that, right? How are you going to query that? So if you click run, you'll be able to see that, I don't know which dates they use for this example. You can click open tab here, which will open you to the actual request itself, and it is quite useful. So they use the date, the first day of this year, 1st of January to 3rd Jan. And these are the blocks that are being produced, right, on Ethereum chain. And there are a total of 13,000 blocks. Okay, so really useful stuff as well. You can get log events of any contract address that will allow you to get the more granular data of every single kind of log events, if you're familiar with this, that's emitted from the smart contract. All right, and Class B endpoints are protocol-specific endpoints. For instance, Uniswap. Uniswap is available on a couple of chains, right? And this allows you to get the number of pools in Uniswap, the addresses, exchange, balance, right? And XY equals to K endpoints lets you get the DEX pools, for instance, of any kind of Uniswap clone or any forks of Uniswap. For instance, on Ethereum mainnet, you can use XY equals to K endpoints on SushiSwap, QuickSwap on Polygon. You can use this endpoint on SpiritSwap on Phantom, right? So all these are very popular DEXs whose data might not be easily visible or transparent. But with this XY equals to K endpoint, you can get access to what's really going on, how many people are doing what kinds of swaps, right? Of which kind of liquidity pairs that's the most popular in these endpoints. So yes, all these are currently available as Class B endpoints. All right. Now, okay, before I end this, let me just give you some quick ideas of what else you can build, what else people have built, in particular, DAO tooling systems, right? So this is a dashboard that was built at the previous hackathon. It is a DAO Transparency Dashboard. So if you go to the start, it won the prize for the hackathon that we participated. So the problem statement that we set for that hackathon was, there's lots of DAOs out there, right? But there's very few ways that people can gain insight into what happens behind DAOs. How big is their treasury? How many proposals they put up? So the idea of a DAO is all transparent and decentralized, but really, how decentralized or transparent is it, right? What is their token holdings of the members of the DAO? So we want to see how people can use the Covalent API to build a DAO Transparency Dashboard. And let's take a look at it in action. Let's say we want to analyze this DAO called BitDAO. There we go. It computes a transparency score. This score is computed using all these on-chain data that is provided from Covalent API. For instance, the DAO treasury, the amount in this treasury is 2.1 billion. This DAO holds 2.1 billion of on-chain money, right? They have a token, which is a BIT token, and this is its token price. All this can be gotten from Covalent API as well. And if you are familiar with DAOs and Snapshot platform, Snapshot is a proposals platform for DAOs to be able to get proposals through with their community, right? And this is their followers. I don't think this is provided with our API though, so the rest is. So if you take a look at it, the get historical portfolio value endpoint is used to generate this chart that gives you the DAO treasury over month, which is used to calculate how much the treasury changed over the last month. It also gives you this top bit token holders. We have this endpoint, right? Get token holders, if you remember. Get token holders as of any block height, right? Using that endpoint, we can see that this is the top bit token holders, and you can do that for any coin. And then when you calculate it against the total circulating supply of bit, you can see that this address holds 30% of bit, right? It's a whale in their in terms of the token holders of this. And then this other address holds 20%, and so on, 11%, 9%. And then there are all these smaller fishes, what I like to call them, that also hold this token. And that's gotten using the get token holders endpoint. And yeah, what are the other tokens that is being held on chain in this treasury? These are the tokens. And that's gotten using our get token balances endpoint. Okay, so all this information is being used to do a calculation and produce a transparency score. Let's take a look at another one, maybe radical. Yeah, so a smaller treasury here, a smaller transparency score, less decentralized. This top address holds 51% of the token for this DAO. And these are the currencies that it holds, mainly concentrated on USDC and ETH. All right, so this is an interesting example of a project that you can use to build for DAOs. I'm running a little bit out of time, so I will be, oh God, sorry. I think I opened that meeting and heard myself through through the YouTube, which scared me a little bit. I'll be opening this up to Q&A, right? All the best with your projects. And if you go on the Bounty page, you can find more information on resources. Okay, I've got one question here in the chat. How does Covalent compare with Graph or Moralis? Great question. the graph uses GraphQL to do its queries. We are quite a fundamentally different architecture, I believe. You can think about it this way. The data that we get is like casting a net, a huge net into the sea, right? To get lots of data. If you saw an example of a response, it holds lots of information. And with one query, you basically can power a page of your application. Whereas for the graph, you get very specific granular data. It's like fishing in some ways. You get very specific data. So it really depends on your use case, right? We do not need you to write subgraphs that differs for every single on-chain platform. You can simply, for instance, you want to get token balances. All you need to do is change the chain ID to get different token balances of different chains. And that allows you to onboard and build dApps really fast, right? I would say as a dev, try out all your options and compare and see which is the use case that, is really suitable for your app. What are the rate limits like for Covalent beyond a certain number of API calls do you have to pay? So our product is entirely free for you to use. We currently have a rate limit of 5 requests per second. So that actually means you get to call around, more than 10,000 requests or 20,000 requests a day, I think. So, which is currently, pretty sufficient because of the kind of data that we have, right? One page of the application only requires 1 call most of the time, or 2 calls. And currently, we do not offer a paid tier, right? Everything is free for you all to use and try. And we are thinking maybe in the future of implementing a paid tier where you have a higher rate limit. But so far, we don't have that service for you all. How do I convert this data to meaningful UI on React? A sample tutorial on UX integration. Yes, we do have this one on Replit NFT market cap. So let me just share this on NFT. Let me just drop this in a comment here. So this is an example of a page that's built in React. And if you see here, how do you integrate it into the front end? You call Axios, right? Typically, this is what you'll be doing. Axios.get and our API request string. And then you get the data, which will come in response. And then you get the data you want. It will be stored. You need to analyze a little bit the data structure to pull out the data, specific data that you want. And then you slice and dice it to fit whatever you need. And what this looks like is this page. All right, you'll be able to find, using the NFT market cap data, this very useful information on the top performing NFT collections of the chain. Like for instance, this is Polygon chain, and we have the top performing one, which is ZHorse, with a market cap of 46 million. And then crypto unicorns, Abergotchi, Chicken Derby, etc. What's very useful about this is that we also have the average price for the 24 hours, right? And the total number of transactions that ever occurred on this collection and the number of wallets that currently contains Z-Horse or crypto unicorns. Our crypto unicorns sit in 3,000 wallets, for instance. And when you click through, you get to see the price floor, another super relevant and hard to get data point. Just give it a sec for it to load. And there we go. We see the price floor for the last 30 days. And you can change the granularity here. But as you can see, it's currently going down a little bit, right? And this is what the unicorns look like. I don't think they're hatched yet. Yeah. So is there any more questions? I think I'm 3 minutes, past my time. Anyone else? No worries.
Awesome.
Yeah, if not, I want to thank all of you for coming, and I can't wait to see what exciting projects you guys will be building using our API. And all the best and have fun for DAOHacks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leibing, for hosting this workshop. I believe it's really early in the morning for you right now. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm kind of used to it. And thank you so much, Anna, for having me.
Of course. And as Leibing said, feel free to contact the Discord if you have any questions throughout the rest of this weekend. And with that being said, I hope the rest of you all have a great rest of your Friday or Saturday, depending on where you are.
Yes.
Bye now.
All right, guys. You can find me on Discord in the channels. Take care.